Hi, everybody. So we're on our next week of Context for Learning. I'm looking right here, and you're going to be doing day 2 and day 3 of the Context for Learning unit, but over 5 days. Okay, and so you're going to do the Develop the Context, Investigate Math Congress, and here you're going to do Develop the Context, Investigate Poster Gallery Walk Math Congress. Okay. So 2 problems, 2 cycles of the learning. This is what your PowerPoint looks like. It starts with a mini lesson. You can see probably by this string that we're hoping for kids to share strategies about adding tens with tens and ones with ones, or adding the tens and then adding the ones, and you can talk a bit about commutativity. When you do this as a slideshow, okay, it's going to come up incrementally, and you want to keep the work as you go using facts they know to find the other facts. And then you go back to the story. There are some keys for how to stop and think about a few of the pieces. But then the real problem, the real work that you're giving kids this day is this worksheet. And in the worksheet, you're asking them to find many ways to bundle the t-shirts. So what are many ways to bundle these 38, okay? What are many ways to bundle this 47? We do not want to present kids with an algorithm or a trick. We want them to think, okay? And so it would be really useful for you here to brainstorm what it is you think kids are going to do. Like to pause and think, like, how will they do this, right? One that comes easily to mind is 3 rolls and 8 loose, right? Like they look in the tens place, they know that's the rolls, it's by rote, that's been drilled into them with the place value chart now that you've done my math, and it was drilled into them in 2nd grade. But it's from here other ways that are really the challenge. And what we aren't trying to do is like necessarily make them like the analogous way of doing it is to scratch it out, make me smaller, put a 1. That's what we're kind of doing when we borrow, which is the chant we teach in 2nd grade. But we want them to kind of come up with that on their own. So we're not interested in doing this quickly or doing this efficiently. We're interested in them actually doing it with some care and thoughtfulness. So I actually think one way you might see them do it is to take 38 loose and think about just making 1 roll. Instead of all 3 rolls, if I just make 1 roll, that still leaves 28 loose. And I might think about that a little bit, right? So that's another way to come up with it. So they might go from the 38 to other configurations. Or they might say, well, let me unpack 1 of these rolls, right? That's 2 rolls now, and now I have 18 loose. So these are lending themselves to future addition and subtraction, but the way that they come at it is going to be really unique, and we're not trying to get them to any place. What we're trying to do is understand the way that they're coming at this sense making, right? And really grounding it in rolls and loose, not in tens and ones. And then later you can point out, like, this is the same as an addition and subtraction algorithm if you feel like it's useful or if not. So this is the first task that takes up Monday. We read the story, we stop and think about the 100 and the different ways to do the 100, and that leads us into doing it for 38, 47, 15. You have a math congress, right? You're brainstorming lots of different ideas, right? Even wrong ideas, I think, can be really useful. And then kind of seeing if you notice patterns. If kids are really getting it, put it in order systematically and notice what's happening every time, right? That would get you to a really sophisticated place. The rest of the week, you do have another mini lesson and then a context. The context is a little bit different with a little bit of prep. So let's go through this. And the mini lesson is a little different too. Instead of going through and doing like equations that pop up, you're going to have someone pick a number from 1 to 9 and then go around the circle adding 10 more each time and recording it and talking about what they notice. So you might pick 7 and then you ask a kid to add 10 and that kid says 17 And then you ask a kid to add 10, and that kid says 27, and you're going through, and you want to go all the way up past 200. It shouldn't take you all day. If a kid doesn't know, they're just going to count it on their fingers, right? They're going to say 57. That's fine, right? Because the whole point is to get kids who are maybe still doing it that way to jump to shortcuts. And one of the most important places to pay attention to is when we go from a place like 97 to 107, right? You're going to come up with the same information. You're going to come up with the same kind of thinking when you go from 197 to 207, right? Because what's going to happen is kids are going to say, well, the digit in the tens place is going up, or like if we think of it as rolls and loose, we're adding a roll, but something really special happens here, right? And so that's this mini lesson, and I'm going to refer you to a resource at the end of this video where you can actually watch a woman like really unpack this and talk this with some kids. And I really encourage you to read just this little bit of the context learning. We talk about, do you see a pattern? What pattern is occurring? And you can do this a few different times for a few different numbers. For the actual problem that kids will be working on then and discussing for the next 3 days, I've given you a slide to put your teams. Kids are going to create the teams, and then you're going to be giving them an envelope with cards inside. So essentially, there'll be 4 envelopes. One called small with cards inside. One called medium with cards inside. One called large with cards inside, right? Each person in that team is going to be in charge of a different size and have to figure out the total amount and how the t-shirts will be organized. And they're going to make posters. Now we know they're going to be adding these, but we don't want to see them line them up and add. That's not the point. The point is to use the idea of the rolls and the loose to add them almost mentally. And so I don't want you to focus so much on kids showing their work as explaining their reasoning. And the posters should show reasoning, not work, because I could just add them. Now, I don't want you to say that to kids. I just want you to let them do it. I trust that if you don't say, show your work, show your work, show your work, how are you showing your work, that they will naturally go there because we haven't set this up. If you do see them go there, push them toward, is there a way you could do this in your head? Is there a faster way to add them up? This is what it looks like. So it's like they're not being pushed to, this naturally doesn't look like adding up. The 2 worksheets, one of them is for the size and one of them is for the whole company. So kids do Appendix C by themselves, right? Like John, he's size small, he has a sheet for size small. Mary, she's medium, she has a sheet for medium. They have one sheet for them together as a group. John and Mary, blah, 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 all put their things together. Then there's a poster and a gallery walk the next day and a math congress. To give you a good sense of this, I'm going to ask you to sign up for the online learning platform. So if you go to your video this week, it says to register for the online learning tool, click here. So you're going to click there. It's going to come up already with the KIP code typed in. And so you just need to fill this in and click create new account. When that happens, you're going to have access to a whole array of videos that I'm really excited about. And I want you to encourage to go to developing the context and watch this woman do the whole envelope explanation thing for day 3, the one that you're going to be doing, okay? The way you get there once you've signed in is you go to this, you go to grades K through 3, you find the T-shirt factory, there's developing the context. For me to know that you participated, right, we're going to see, you're going to have a place here to watch and then answer and make some notes. When you're done, you save and share. So watch this. I love the way the teacher blah, 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 blah. You fill that out. You save and then you share. And what's so cool is you're going to get to see what some of your teammates have written or what other people have written. In addition to they're getting to see what you have written. Okay? I really encourage you to also click here. If you click on the mini lessons, you can see her do right down here the mini lesson from day 3 and day 4. And we'll be filling this out the following week, but I really encourage you to start. If you're ready for watching a mini lesson, she does the whole count around thing here. So it's really neat, okay? All right, that's everything.